So let's talk a little bit about how this gun actually works. So you've got my list of upgrades that I've done to this, improvements over factory. So, how does this gun handle loading and shooting? We'll actually get into the review of the M3K as it stands now that you know what I've upgraded from factory. So how does this do for the budget? First of all, to my knowledge, this is the cheapest gun you can get that's specifically designed for competition. You can get an M3000 a little cheaper, but it's not going to have the partially opened up loading port. It's not going to have the extended bolt release or charging handle. It's not going to have competition ready safety on there. So it's not going to be as fast as this gun. But the function of the action is, to my knowledge, exactly the same. So you can get a cheaper M3000, make some of the upgrades, and be relatively close to what this gun is. But I think this gun's only $100 more than an M3000, so you're going to put, pretty close to that into just the charging handle, bolt release, safety, anyways, and you're still going to have your smaller loading port on the M3000. So this is, probably the cheapest one that you can take to a match, more or less, right out of the box, from an action standpoint. So it's a great value, when you've got the cheapest one and it's a highly functional gun, then your value is awesome. I mean, what else can you say? It's an unbelievable value. So you can't go wrong with it. If you're a beginner, this is the easiest, cheapest way to get into the game. You can function with this gun to the highest level. You're not going to be lacking. This shotgun's not going to hold you back to becoming a very highly competitive shooter. Let's put it that way. And so from my standpoint, if you're going to get into the game and you don't have a shotgun, this is the one to go with. There's other options, but this is the one I would do because it's the most complete package that I know of from the factory, and it's not going to hold you back. One thing to note is that if you are having problems with cycling consistent loads, is you have to remember, and this is probably something people don't always do when they buy a gun like this, that's advertised as being able to go straight to a match, is these guns do have a break-in period. You're supposed to buy and run through some slugs in this gun before you judge how it cycles ammo. You need to shoot some heavy loads through this gun, really get all the kinks worked out, and then that's when you can judge what it's going to shoot dependently for and consistently for you. So yeah, if you took this gun right off the shelf, cleaned it, oiled it, took it out, you might not be able to run even their recommended shells consistently, the 1 1/8 ounce shells, because they do say that you need to break this gun in with some heavy slugs, to do like an initial break-in period. So if people, I would assume some of the people complaining about the reliability of this gun and how picky it is with ammo, they probably didn't run through their break-in period, and then I'm sure there's some that have legitimate complaints. But I haven't seen it. No one that I've talked to that competes with this gun has problems. I was worried about the 7/8 ounce shells, and they were like, oh no, that'll run 7/8 ounce shells all day. It's just, is that heavy enough to knock down the targets that you're shooting? So they didn't shoot 7/8 ounce out of theirs. They mostly went 1 and 1 1/8, but they said it wasn't a reliability problem. It was the knockdown power of that round that stopped them from doing it. So I haven't talked to anybody personally that's had any problems with this gun being picky on ammo. So enough of that. Let's do a little bit of action here. Again, gun's clear. I'm gonna go run and grab some more dummy rounds. I've got the one that'll go into the stage saver here, and I'm gonna see if I can do this. I'm just gonna show some quad loads. All right, so I've got my Safariland ELS competition belt here. If you're curious, where you can get this stuff from, most of the stuff, if I don't have it directly, I have the shotgun and the sight, the front sight, and things that directly pertain to the video in the description of the video, so down below. Please help support, the channel. Please subscribe if you can, and then even better would be to check out the links below. But I also typically link to my current 3-gun setup, and that has basically everything that I like and that I want to recommend. That product page will break all that stuff out, and you can support the page by clicking on those links, and if you want to purchase these items. So I don't really want to get too much into the technique of quad loading. I just want to show that this gun can quad load without opening up the port. Some people don't even try it. They just, as soon as they get the new shotgun, they either themselves Dremel this out, or they send it to someone to Dremel it out, and they kind of make it seem like you can't quad load a factory gun. But I'm just want to show you that you can quad load this gun without opening up this loading port. And again, the only thing is that low drag follower really helped me in this process. So I'm not super fast anyways, but I'm gonna try and do this so it's somewhat on camera. I usually strong hand load, so it's just a simple turn and tuck under my shoulder so I can hold it. And then I'm gonna pull 4 off my belt and then right into the gun. And then I can grab, second set. I got a little bit jammed up there and just needed a second push. That right there, some of that was alignment, poor technique getting into the gun, but some of that was getting caught on the lip. So, feeding like that obviously is going to be much easier with a properly dremeled out loading port. But I'm just here to show you, that's pretty good. That went in real smooth and just bang, bang. And, you're not going to win any speed speed loading competitions with that. But when you're shooting a match and you've got a few steps in between targets, that's plenty of time to bang, bang. You don't have to, not every reload has to be a 3-second split reload. Most of the time you're going to have a few seconds in between a few of your targets where you can, pop 4 in, take a few more shots, and then as you walk to the next target, pop 4 more in. And so that's more of a strategy. I think if you plan out your strategy on the stage well, this gun's not going to hold you back from a speed perspective. So my point isn't that you're going to win big matches necessarily without opening this up further, but the point is you can compete with this gun without doing any additional work to this loading port. So anyways, here's 4 more like that. I don't know what else I can show you with the quad loads other than this gun can definitely do it. There's proof, and eventually I will open that up and I'll get faster quad loads. But I think there's something to be said for when you're just starting out, practicing with a non-ideal gun. So technique is huge, and so you got to just take your time, to find that sweet spot of where those shells need to be to get into the tube. And this gun will make you have to be pretty accurate to get in there, because you're not just going to pick it up and quad load if you've never done it before. But it doesn't take long either, probably an hour. An hour and a sore finger, sore thumb was about all it took to, to realize that this gun works for quad loading. And, really one of the only guns, if not the only shotgun that I know has a port big enough to do that right from the factory. That's something you might not know or realize when you're just looking at which shotgun you should buy to start out in 3-gun or to continue, or upgrade from a pump shotgun or something like that. This gun can do everything you need it to do with very minimal upgrades. And you don't have to do a ton of machining work on it or Dremel work on it to get it to function. This gun won't slow you down from any aspect.